tough. Tough.
You may be in the country because of the funerals, but I'm sure you are looking at the way the country is since you've arrived. What are your impressions?
Yes, I have not been following too much on events, but I've been talking to people.
Yeah.
When I get a chance, I speak with friends. I speak with the ordinary person. I jump into some areas, social interaction with others, and I'm gathering some impression about what is happening in the country. I myself, I realize that the city is not strong. The dollar keeps melting, and within an hour or two, by the end of the day, your dollar is gone in terms of city. So things are a bit on the expensive side. We're not sure how people are managing it in the country now. Businesses, people's monies are stuck in banks, and they cannot get them. Others have their gratuity and their pension stuck, and they are not sure how to get them from their banks, which have been closed. And it's really something that's troubling to the ordinary person. And I think it's time for us to think about what we can do to make things comfortable for the ordinary person.
This is just information that you've picked from just interactions with people.
Yes, interaction with people. I have mates, I have colleagues of my contemporary colleagues who are workers, probably in the middle class of society. Others are working, and they've parked their cars. Actually, I have a friend who helped me in the funeral, and the economy is biting on them. Buying fuel to travel has been another tough thing. So I am driving myself. I'm buying fuel. I know Ghana's fuel, the price of fuel at the pump in Ghana, to me, has been more expensive than the U.S.
More expensive than the U.S.?
Yes, if you compare. And it has been the case, and it's not getting better. So when you come down from the U.S., you feel the fuel price in your pocket more than even the U.S. So it's something we need to be worried about. Not at this time when we have liberalized the fuel market, the oil market, and we also are net exporters of fuel. I think we need to rethink the way the price at the pump is biting on the ordinary person. Salaries are still the same. They are not increasing. People are complaining. I have my brothers and my sisters here, and they tell me about what they take home when it comes to the salary. It's peanut. And I'm wondering how they have been managing. And no wonder why you have to be remitting them for basic things and others. School fees, not necessarily the free education, but there are fees to pay for your ward. So those are the issues that we need to be thinking about, and then see how we can manage the economy. Ghana is a good place to live, the social interaction, the family relationship, and all that. So it is up to leadership. And in fact, all Ghanaians on board, we should be able to do the most important things to make things comfortable for the ordinary citizen. And that is all that we need. So it should take government. We've been changing government, and you can hear from even those who are sympathizers and relate with the government in power right now. I've been complaining. They are not coming out of their shells. Initially, they were thinking that there is a base of the government that you could choose, but many of them who were leading the campaign and the leading faces of the MPP government, you hear them openly now complaining on social media, on the conventional media and all that. And they are boldly talking about how disappointed they are in a government they believed in prior to it coming into power. So it is not for anybody to sit somewhere and then be sort of criticizing or bashing. We need to turn things around, and see the best alternative. And I think the best alternative is yet to come. The reason why those of us who belong in the NDC, and for that matter, the NDC Professional Forum, we not necessarily about closing our minds or being hypocritical about things. We're thinking about expertise, specializations. We're thinking about what will benefit Ghana rather than the parties. That is what we need to talk about You cannot go blind and then be oblivious of things that your own party or the government is talking about. But you need to, consider things that will help the ordinary person. And things are not going well. You travel around the country, you don't see any good signs so far as the road networks are concerned. A few of them are very good. I've traveled across from the Eastern region through Accra, Tema, and to the Volta region a number of times. So I have experience, especially when it comes to what development and infrastructure. Other things have been abandoned. Pitiful, to drive through the communities and see some schools abandoned. I was coming from home over the weekend on Sunday, and on the way somewhere around Dawa, Adan Road, I saw, for the first time, those bungalows, those
the housing projects,
and they're over there. When people are crowded in Accra, workers cannot find places to live. People are paying so much money for their rent to lease a place to sleep with your family. It's not easy. So what are we doing over there? Abandoned? Couldn't we have continued? Couldn't we have completed them so that we'll make things comfortable and decongest, the population and continue where others left off? So I've been wondering, some of us have been wondering, what is it? What is our aim? Where are we heading to? What's the target? What do we want to do? What legacy do we want to leave as a government so that we can be spoken about in a good, put in a good picture? So it is up to the citizen. It's up to the ordinary person. There is nothing to talk about campaigning or going to, deceive people or sort of persuade them. They're feeling it. People are feeling it, and you can see it. So it's a tough call. It's a tough call. It's a tough call.
Listening to you, let me ask you: when you were in the U.S., we had an opportunity of speaking to you on a couple of issues, typically on the economy.
Exactly.
At the time, based on the information you were getting from home, and then perhaps the ones that were being provided by the media. The assessment you had and the one you have now after landing in this country, what are the differences? Were we painting a much more better picture than it was, or we were painting a gloomier picture to you when you were outside?
I would say that when it comes to communicators from the government side, they were painting a picture that made us to be doubting our own information through research that we were gathering. The picture was things were rosy. The picture was that things were improving. The picture was that Sino Hydro had brought some money. The picture was that the construction was going on. Those were the things that we were hearing. The picture was that the city was stable. The picture was that prices were stable. The picture was that there was abundance of food. Some of them have not been put in the proper perspective as far as my impression in the U.S. and here as compared to arriving here is concerned. Because when you travel across the country, especially when you go to the hinterland, I'm from Suhum, that is where I grew up and that is where I was born, and I have been living there since arriving and come to Tema. Plantain on my own compound. My brothers are planting plantain. Plantain is growing. I'm not sure whether that is it's a result of any deliberate effort by government. I don't think so, because plantains are growing all over the place. I don't think it's a deliberate effort or a project like we knew years ago, where in our agriculture sector we just embarked on an operation of planting maybe corn, cassava, and plantain in our homes. But that is what we see. So that is creating an impression as if there is abundance of food. But you see, what is deceptive, what we have to look at is the grains. We live on rice, okay? And most of these rice that we feed on in the country are imported. The question is this: are we deliberately thinking about reducing the importation of foreign rice and deliberately embarking on an operation to help farmers to grow their own rice in such a way that we can even export them? That is what is missing. I'm not sure whether we have it. That is what it's missing. Previously, I believe there was a deliberate effort that, look, even if you are an importer of rice and you are looking to import this number of bags, you are supposed to buy a local rice, a quantity of local rice, and then import a certain quantity of foreign rice. So, for example, if you were a dealer or a trader in rice, and you ask that your import from China or importing rice from China is about 100 bags, you are asked to buy a certain percentage locally, and then import the rest just to substitute. But now it's a free, liberal, and I don't think those things are in vogue now. And we keep on importing rice, chicken parts and meat and all that. It's not helping the poultry industry. It used to be the same thing. We're encouraging the poultry farmers. But I think we are lost. I bought some poultry, I bought some meat, I bought some fish regarding the funerals that I've been engaged in. And according to those who are here, it's expensive. I may not feel it when it comes to exchanging the dollar, but the locals, I mean my relations, my relatives who actually go to the market, they talk about how expensive it is, moving from one market to the other. So planting for food and jobs, probably that is where we need to relook and then be very realistic when it comes to that project. We need to be realistic to the ordinary Ghanaian. Are we really doing well? Probably so. But what figures, what statistics, what research can inform the citizen about this very project is actually yielding result, rather than the rhetorics that we hear about. So we can do better than we are seeing now.
Yeah. A lot has been said about, and we were just talking about the government communicators. This government has a lot of sloganish kind of policies. One village, one dam, planting for food and job, one district, one factory. And then there's the free senior high school policy, the famous free senior high school policy, among several others. Have you seen the impacts?
Like I said, I have not taken the trouble to travel or specifically look at those things, but
from your engagement?
From my engagement regarding the school, I have MPP friends. In fact, when it comes to being a person coming from Suhum and etc., that's a stronghold of MPP. I have friends who are MPP guys. In fact, they drive me around. You see me in MPP vehicle with MPP flag. That doesn't mean that I have jump camp, but they are friends. Well, I have interacted with some of them regarding the free SSS. It's a good policy. It's a good program. Never to be, told that a government introduced it. It's something enshrined in our constitution. It's a creature of our constitution. And so it is something that governments must, embark upon. It's appearing as if government in power today is the initiator and therefore the originator of a policy like that, which is deceptive in the first place. Again, when you talk to teachers, again, I have teachers from my family. I also come from the background of that profession. So far as professional certification is concerned in Ghana here, I've taught all over the place, and I have colleagues who are teachers. I have my nephews and nieces who are teachers as well. They talk about the difficult challenges, but they are afraid to come out because of victimization. That's what I feel, Students from BEC are all being, moved into the SSS in bulk without recourse to what grades. So when you have a whole class, and then you put somebody who is coming with aggregate 12, and then another person who is have aggregate 36 or 40, and they are all in a classroom, 51 teacher, all of them about the number. You can even think about the number 80, in some cases 100. How, as a teacher, how do you handle such a case? Because they are of various levels of, just because we say free SSS, everybody must get there. So that is posing problem to the teachers. They cannot talk about it. How do they handle? How do they teach? How do they prepare lesson notes? How do they deliver lessons? how do they take care of the students, how do they mark work, and how do they count the following day to deliver. Because when you prepare a lesson, you must think about the average standard of the student, the class. So if you're not very careful, you prepare, and then you may be above the student who came in with aggregate 40 against a student who is coming in with aggregate 12. So the higher grade student may think that you are wasting his time as a teacher. Meanwhile, the challenge is with the one with the lower.